Welcome to Sports Doc Spock Radio. Welcome to Sports Doc Spock Radio. This is your boy, the Sports Doctor Spock, Mickey Coleman, and we're gonna get into a little bit of Hulk Hogan, Malcolm-Jamal Warner, and Ric Flair. We've lost Ric Flair, Ozzy Osbourne. We've lost these three legendary figures within the past 3 days, and we're gonna talk about them just a little bit here. Today, Hulk Hogan died at the age of 71. Ozzy Osbourne passed away yesterday at the age of 56. And the day before that, Malcolm-Jamal Warner died at the young age of 54 while vacationing in Costa Rica. We'll probably get into. I'm still waiting on. I'm supposed to have a couple of guests here, but I don't know if they join or if they even see that I'm live right now. I would wait for them before I got into the videos. But let me see. Let me see how I can do this. Maybe I could queue up something else here while we wait. We're going to actually queue up Ric Flair's reaction on TMZ. Ric Flair, as you imagine, was very sad because even though they were rival, they were dear friends about the passing of Hulk Hogan. So we'll get into that first.
People always wanted to paint us as enemies, but we were actually very, very close friends. And we kept it up with each other on a regular basis. So I just talked to Jimmy Hart yesterday, and he was fine. To have this happen is just horrible.
I've never seen Ric Flair this sad. Like, I remember when Arn Anderson got hurt and had to retire early. Rick was standing in the ring, tearing up a little bit, but Ric Flair is usually, when I see him in public, first of all, he's usually fucked up, but, drunk or whatever. But when he's sober, he's still either very upset, or very mad, I should say, or very happy. I've never really seen him, and I've been watching him since I was around 7 years old. Quite this sad. It's kind of sad to see. Honestly, I'm a person with a heart. You know what I'm saying? It's no, and Ric Flair was also battling cancer. I believe he just found out he was cancer free. So let me.
How did you get the news?
This is from TMZ.
I'm so sorry, Rick. I am so sorry. Oh, I'm kind of from everybody, man. Phone won't stop. And that's a good thing because everybody is saying something nice. When social media can be so cruel, in this case, everybody is saying something nice. So, I knew him over the years, but not like you, Harvey. I really had a connection with this guy. I'm wondering what he meant to you. I mean, I want to hear your connection to him. Well, we had magic. I mean, it wasn't like me and Steve-O, but we just had a chemistry.
He was just speaking of Ricky Steamboat, who he feels like he's had his best matches with. And he's probably right, because WrestleMania 3, Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat stole his show. The main event was Hogan and Andre, but the best match, not Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, but who's trying to join? I have to hold on, Laurel. I have to get you to join a little bit later. I'm waiting for a couple other people to come in, but hold that thought because I am gonna let you up. But Randy Savage, and Ric Flair actually stole. Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat, actually stole the show that night. Ricky Steamboat can actually have a great match with anybody while we're talking about professional wrestling. And Pretty much so could Ric Flair. But he's talking about probably as a charisma standpoint, and maybe they did have maybe him and Ric Flair could have a good match with anybody. So the matches with him and Hogan were pretty good, but not as good as the matches with him and Steamboat. Rick is right here. Let me go ahead and play it. Can y'all hear on Instagram? Can y'all hear the Ric Flair speaking?
I felt like it equal to me and Steamboat, but in a different way, and he was so over. I mean, when I went there in the '90s.
Over means popular. He gets like good reactions.
The music started, and he came down the hallway. I mean, I would get him down for 2 minutes, and we'd have it's just an unbelievable relation.
Ric Flair just had somebody wipe the tears from his eyes while he speaks.
Chef, I mean, and I'll give you an idea of how much fun we had working together. If we were doing a dark match after TV, we would go in and say room service and throw me in, give me the boot, drop the big leg on me. We got back to the hotel for room service. I mean, that's how much fun we had working together.
So you guys were rivals in the ring. And I'm so curious about this. Did that ever kind of bleed out into real life, or were you always secretly friends?
Always friends. I probably have to be remiss to say I wasn't jealous that he was making so much more money than me, but it had nothing to do with him. It's just, I'm not going to bring up his name, but the promotion just put me in a bad spot. But
he's speaking of Vince McMahon. He didn't bring his name up, but I'll bring it up. He talking about Vince McMahon right there.
Not with him ever. Are you kidding? I loved him. And everywhere we went, we drew money. It's just we had a connection, and since then we've done signings together, and like in the Hard Rocks, and I keep up with him. I've been out to his bar for karaoke, and I mean, it just everybody wants to take a shot at Hulk, but he doesn't deserve it. People make mistakes, and
this girl wiping his eyes.
How that happened, but it just it's unfair to judge anybody by I mean, who would I be to judge anybody? I mean, really, who is anybody that's a celebrity to judge anybody? We've all made mistakes.
Yeah.
It's been over 2 years since I found the P word, and it all started with a video I almost ignored. So, I've talked to him over the years, and about his ups, which there were many, and his downs, of which there were definitely some. Where was he? Where was he at the end of his life in terms of his head? Where was Hulk Hogan? Terry Bollea.
Well, I think he was doing great in it, but there's people that just they take shots at Hulk, and they want to blame him for being protective of his position, but they don't. The young guys don't understand that back in the '80s, you didn't. It wasn't as political as it is now, but you had to fight for your position. I mean, not fist fight, but in some cases even fist fight.
Yeah, you did have to fist fight back in the 80s.
Does that make sense?
It does, and you mentioned being political. He was.
Rook was speaking about when he came up to the WWF, and he was saying, even though you didn't really hear it there, how he didn't like how Vince McMahon used him. He gave him the belt twice. I just don't think that audience, and I think Rick can be over just about anywhere, and I think he was more over than what he's saying because he had the belt twice. But that New York audience, Vince didn't really watch Rick anywhere else. He probably never really seen him like that. So, he has to listen to other people tell him how to use Rick. But the problem with that is he don't always listen. Vince might take a suggestion, but he gonna go do. He would have did his own. He did his own thing with Rick, and then Rick went back down south, back to WCW. Rick was more legendary in the NWA and WCW than he ever was up north of the WWE or WWF. That's him speaking.
I mean, he was, I believe, the star of the Republican National Convention last year. And that, look, we're a 50-50 country divided. And he paid a price for that even when he showed up in the ring.
Yeah, well, you know what? One thing about Hulk, and I've never forgotten it. He used to say to me, it's not about who's the best worker, it's about who makes the most money.
Well, then he got
I hated that saying.
Well,
that got Rick to laugh.
That saying is that kind of applied to your relationship with him, that he made a lot more money than you, and that's what mattered to him, yet you never showed jealousy toward him.
No, well, I couldn't. I wasn't mad at him. I was mad at the promotion. I'm not going to bring up any names because now it's not a time to blame anybody. But, you know, he with me, he knew that I wanted to work with him because that meant I was on top. And we had some fantastic dealings. The match with Shaquille O'Neal as special referee, and then Halloween Havoc where Tommy Hearns, Muhammad Ali.
This is where they work together in WCW. He's speaking of now.
But they drew money, and we drew money. And the one thing that I said in public.
He might also be talking about Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff and how they used both of them in WCW. But by the time Hulk got to WCW, Rick was pretty much on the tail end of his popularity. The Hulk was too. So it wasn't a whole lot you could really do with both of them at that time. Because Sting, Luger, the NWO, and Harlem Heat, Booker T, and all them were a little bit more over than even Rick and Hulk. In my opinion, Jeff Jarrett, the younger guy, started to kind of rise up.
In the garden one night, my son went to 6 rehabs, and he never. My insurance didn't cover rehab.
Talk about Reed, his late son Reed.
To keep him in rehab and to keep him off life support. So I've never forgot that. And I went to pay him back, and he said, "You never have to pay me back. I'm here for you." Wow. And then when I was dying in the hospital, I don't remember, but he was the first one there. So how do you forget things like that?
Land Rover Troy, creating a high standard with our convenient and transparent whenever.
Like that.
So this is an hour after we broke the news, so maybe it's too early, but I'm going to try. He was a complicated man. What do you think his legacy is?
His legacy is he's arguably, along with Steve Austin, the biggest star in the history of wrestling. For his generation.
Yeah, those are probably 1 and 2, or 1 and 1B. 1A, 1B.
Go back to Minneapolis to see my mom and dad, and they weren't part of the NWA. And it's one of the greatest things I ever remember. My dad would say to me, "Everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is. They don't know you." Okay, Dad.
Well, that's not true.
And to a certain extent, it was.
I mean, we met up on the road, and when we did, we always partied and had fun, and we competed. But the one thing that was a for sure factor is the building was full, and we had fun. Mm-hmm. We didn't talk about it for 3 hours. we knew what we were gonna do because we felt it.
I get it. Rick, look, I know this was really hard.
I bet you them boys had some wild nights.
The announcement, but we so appreciate it. And again, at least from me and from TMZ, our deepest condolences.
Well, thank you. You know, I hope everybody just stands up and says, man, Hulk, you were the greatest. He made a lot of people a lot of money.
That he did.
Not just a promotion. He made a lot of people a lot of money. I can remember when
most of the people you worked with.
And Kamala wasn't getting paid right. And he went to Vince and said, Kamala needs more money. I mean, he had a good heart. Too good.
Wait, if you or someone you know was detained at any...
God damn, how many commercials does that motherfucker need? Jesus. Wow. My goodness. Oh my goodness. It's just commercials everywhere for that one video.
Wait, if you or someone you know was detained at any Michigan
I think
juvenile
that's about
detention
it for
facility,
that
including Wayne County.
soundtrack. Yeah, that's about it for that soundtrack anyway. So I'll speak a little more on Hulk. Hulk first gained real promises, first gained real fame working in the AWA because that's when he was in the Rocky 3 movie. Working for Vern Gagne, and he also is the former IPG in Japan. I think he was the first New Japan world champion back in 1980. I think he won a tournament, and he was their first champion. But he was first in the AWA. And then Vince, the AWA is the place where Vince rated first. That's where he got Ventura and Heenan. Hogan, Okerlund, and a lot of guys that were on top in the AWA. Vince pretty much really rated that company's top stars. Bockwinkel stayed. In fact, Hogan had a match where he's had Bockwinkel beat, but he didn't win the title. And after that, I guess he figured that Vince was going to gave him the belt his first night back in the WWF, because that wasn't the first time he was in the WWF. But when he went back in '84, his first match, he got the title, and Vern wasn't really trying to give him the belt right away, and I think that's the reason why he left there. Now, it would have been between... Vince wanted to give the belt to either Hogan or Dusty Rhodes to carry the national expansion of the WWF. He saw Rhodes, who wasn't a big jacked up guy, but he had a hell of a personality, and Vince knew he could sell him. But Hawk was a bigger guy with the big muscles and stuff, also with a big personality, and Vince knew he could sell him. So it ended up being Hogan in the national expansion. Well, rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. And now I want to speak a little bit about Malcolm-Jamal Warner, who died in Costa Rica at the age of 54 during a morning swim. It was 5:30 in the morning. He got killed by a riptide. And I did a video on this that's on my bigger channel, and I'm going to play that video, and we're going to speak over it as well. Let me go to it. If I can, it's right here. So I'll go to it right now, and let's play it. It's 8 minutes long, and we're going to talk we're going to stop and we're going to speak over this video as well.
New details of the tragic drowning death of Malcolm-Jamal
Go back to Instagram.
This is your boy, the Sports Dr. Spock, and we're right here with Lauren LaRosa of the Breakfast Club, and she's going to get into the details of this tragic death of the American actor, best known for his role in the Cosby Show as Theo, but also known for his role as Malcolm in the show Malcolm and Eddie, and much, much more. Let's get into the new details of this tragic drowning with Mrs. LaRosa right here.
So there are new details in the tragic passing of Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Yesterday, MVU asked me about the second person who was left in critical condition from this incident as well, from Malcolm's drowning incident. So People magazine.
Nick, you there? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm bringing in Mr. Nick Jackson. Nick, I just got through talking about Hawk and Rick. Were you waiting for a long time?
Yeah, I was trying to catch up, but it wouldn't. I guess the internet was messing up over here or something because of rain.
Okay. I wanted to have Nick speak while we were talking about Hawk, but now we're on Malcolm-Jamal Warner now. Let me know if you can hear the video player from the Breakfast Club. Hold on. Can you hear that?
Reporting that the second person who was taken by ambulance to the hospital in critical condition was actually a person not related to Malcolm-Jamal.
Okay, well, we'll get a little bit into Hulk Hogan then, and I'll just for a few minutes, and then I'll play it because they can hear it on YouTube.
Okay.
But I got the window open while I'm live on Instagram, so that's why you can't hear it.
Okay.
Nick, you might be a little young to really remember Hulk Hogan in the beginning, but Hulk Hogan actually gained most of his fame in the AWA working for Vern Gagne, a territory that ran pretty much Chicago, Minnesota, and ran all the way out sometimes to Vegas. What happened was when Hulk got back to the WWF, I was telling them on YouTube, he won the championship from the Iron Sheik his first night. And he went there because I think this is it. When he was in the AWA, Nick Bockwinkel was the world champion. And they wouldn't put him over Nick squarely. So he left Vern Gagne in the AWA. He was one of the first to leave. Then Gene Okerlund left. When Vince did the national expansion, the first place he rated pretty much and took the top talent from was the AWA. And the top star was Hulk Hogan. So once Hulk seen he wasn't getting the title from Bockwinkel anytime soon, Vince got in his ear and got him to come over up to New York and got him to make his first night back. That wasn't his first time there because this was 84. Hogan wrestled for Vince Sr. probably from 78 to 80, on and off. But like I said, he won the championship back his first night. But I was just saying that to get you caught up. What are some of your memories of Hulk Hogan? How do you remember him? You probably remember him more in WCW. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm born in 91. Mm-hmm. And that was like the golden time for wrestling for me to watch. My favorite wrestler at that time was Scott Hall. Mm-hmm. So the back and forth they used to do with the Wolf Pack and Sting, them moments was iconic. It made me fall in love with wrestling. And I didn't know nothing about wrestling, and my grandma told me, like, look at this. Once I say, I ain't even know nothing about WWF. You have to think in 97, I was 6 or 7, so all I knew was Monday night was WCW and Hollywood Hulk Hogan running for people. Ric Flair is chasing them. He running from Steve. I didn't really know nothing about the American Dream of Hulk Hogan, I should say. Like, for a while, I didn't know nothing about that until later on, like in 2001.
Okay.
When the NWO came to WWE, then they started talking about Hulk Hogan. Like, But, we didn't have YouTube and stuff with Google back then, so you had to dial up AOL and somebody called house call you too. So, good old days.
Oh man, that's funny. Well, I was just thinking. See, I just played Ric Flair on TMZ. Did you see that interview?
No, I ain't get to see it yet.
Ric Flair, like I've never seen him that sad in public. He's either really pissed off or really happy. Ric Flair was so sad it was a girl wiping the tears from his eyes.
I think you're really sad because you got to think we've been knowing each other since 2000, and I had Skyler in 2014. So I've been knowing you since like 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's over 10 years. They've been knowing each other for
since I've been alive. I say closer to 50 years. They
50 plus.
Yeah, because they were trained basically by the same people. I don't think they were trained at the same time. I think Hawk might have came a little later, but Vern Gagne trained both of them. Vern Gagne used to run the AWA, which was another big promotion. It was like WWF, NWA, and AWA. Those were the three biggest promotions in the country at that time.
That's fine. And when you friends with somebody that long, or knowing something, that's not like, but that's worse than maybe losing a brother or a friend. That's like losing a piece of you.
Especially when you're that connected. But Rick was saying that he felt like they weren't using him. WCW didn't use at that time Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan like they should have.
Yeah, it's 1A, 1B.
Yeah, they didn't use them like that. But by the time Hawk was really over in WCW, Rick kind of was on a decline. So it wouldn't have worked out that way. Now, early in about 92, Rick was in the WWF, and Hogan was making a movie or doing whatever he was doing there. Rick was kind of over. That's when they should have got together. They would have made a bag.
Yeah.
But Vince McMahon really didn't watch anything but the WWF, so he didn't really know how to use Rick.
Yeah, he was more into gimmicks and characters. The Undertaker, the Warriors, things like that. Macho Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why I was surprised when Kevin Nash and Diesel and Razor Ramon, when they got the big push like that over there, because he was so, you gotta have a gimmick, you gotta have a character.
But also,
well,
not with Vince, he also liked big muscular guys, and with Scott Hall, first of all, is a white dude from Texas. He ain't Cuban from Miami. So that was a gimmick. That Razor Ramon was a gimmick.
Like Scott Hall was so underrated, man. He messed up his career so that he could have been with drinking and drugs. He would have been great. He was already legendary. He one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers. And one of the people that I always wanted to film. 2 wrestlers I always wanted to meet was him and Ric Flair, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Ric Flair is the young Jeezy of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Ric Flair, he's so flashy. Ric Flair is these rappers get their flag from Ric Flair.
I like that. I don't know. Like I was always more of a Ric Flair and a Hulk Hogan.
As a small kid, I was more of a Hulk Hogan fan because that's what Hulk Hogan appealed to.
I didn't know about Rick like that.
Yeah, I knew about Rick, but Hulk was at his height of his popularity probably when I was about 7 years old. It was about 4 or 5 years before you got here. And he was tailored for kids. He had a cartoon. He had cereal, blankets, pajamas. He was kind of tailored for family and children. Cereal players, eat your vitamins.
And to me, I don't think no heel turn is bigger than Hulk Hogan. I don't think it can ever be.
Well, yeah, because Vince wouldn't have did that to him. He didn't think it would work, but it did work. It worked. Kids,
like trash.
Right? Kids was in the audience crying. Grown people was crying and shit. It was wild.
I wonder how Steve too. I'm gonna have to look that up and see how Steve feeling about this. I know he messed up about it.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of people that are very sad. Yeah, there's a lot of people that ain't that sad either. I wanted my boy Mark to actually join me to join us too, because Mark didn't have a whole lot of good things to say about Ric Flair, and I wanted him to actually say them. Because I want it to be a balanced conversation. Ooh-wee.
We might have a good debate tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. Mark, I think it's just getting off work, so I don't know if he'd be able to come on. But that's all right. We'll get him another time, and we'll talk about this situation as we find out a little bit more. Maybe I'll go live sometime this weekend.
So, who is his favorite wrestler?
I don't know, but I know he don't like Hulk Hogan. He's more upset with Hulk Hogan because of the name. Yeah. Let me tell you something, nigger. Oh, my bad.
Well, I just squared that out because, in fairness, Booker T back in the day called him a nigga. He ain't do nothing about it. He didn't have Booker T fired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did you see? You see, Booker T knew he fucked up right after he said it. He was like, God damn, did I just say that shit? Yeah. Did I just say that shit?
No, Diddy. Booker T lived rent-free in my head. When he told Corey Graves, I'm going to take you in the back of the woodshed and do something bad.
Oh, no.
I say, oh my God. Booker T, like, I can listen to Booker. I watch NXT just to hear Booker T talk.
Oh, man. That's what he's doing now, NXT?
Yeah, he commentates.
Okay. I know he does his own thing down in Texas, too. I think he has his own school.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the TNA champion, Trick Williams, who is in NXT, he remind me of a young Booker T, his style, his charisma. Like, they ain't got the same talking, but that's what he remind me of, like, what his career is going to be.
Okay. Trick Williams, the champ now, he beat Joe Hendry or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't get to watch it. I don't get to watch a whole lot of NXT.
Me either, but I'll be watching clips on YouTube.
Okay.
Like I don't get to watch a whole lot of wrestling for real. I just watch like clips and highlights.
Okay, yeah, and that's how you keep up.
Yeah, because I need to be working right now with my truck down.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was wondering if you was home or not. This stream it wasn't really planned. I kind of just threw it together.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get everybody on who always said they wanted to come on. I'll use you again too. I'll be using you a little more because I talk about a variety of things. Like right now, I'm going to get into the death of Malcolm-Jamal Warner.
Oh yeah, when that happened, you know, I told you the first thing I ain't gonna say it on your chest because you might get blocked.
Wow.
But the first thing I said about that was, man, why it had to be Bill Cosby's son? Why couldn't it be Carl Weatherspoon's son?
Wow. Why Derek McCreary gotta die?
You know, his girlfriend is transsexual.
Yeah, I get it. His boyfriend his girlfriend come with extra parts. I know. I get it. Yeah, I know.
We might start really course and stuff. We can say what we want to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have you. I'm gonna have to have you on my Rumble. I can't have you on YouTube. I'll be gone. But I got Rumble. We can pretty much.
Well, I've been going to church lately every week, so I've been doing a lot better in life.
Well, you ain't really been cussing on the street. You ain't really a cusser like that anyway. It's a smart brother with a it's a smart brother with a vocabulary. He ain't like me. I say all kinds of wild shit. But go ahead.
Say a lot of wild shit too. I'm just like, watch what I say.
Yeah, my man Nick. Well, Nick,
I'm in case my girl watching too. I don't get drunk.
Wow.
I'm already in the doghouse now.
Tell her that you're out the doghouse.
Well, that's why I'm doing positive stuff like this.
Right.
And I don't smoke cigarettes. And I don't smoke no more.
No more squares. Nick Jackson gave up Newports. My man.
5 days.
5 days.
You know, once you get past the first 3, you good.
Hey, man. Shoot, I'm happy for you. You know your lungs turn back pink after a while too. You ain't gonna have them black lungs forever.
You gotta say pause. There's no Diddy at the
Oh damn! I'm trying to have a healthy conversation with you, bro.
Off the air conversation.
Well, let me get into the Malcolm-Jamal Warner thing. I'm kind of mad you can't really hear this video. Do you have another device by you?
Nope, they're all on the west side. So I'm gonna just hang up, and you could just tag me back in when you're ready.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to the motherland real quick.
The motherland.
Inside joke.
Yeah. Woo, the motherland. Ooh, remember that? All right, man. Let me get back into the Malcolm-Jamal Warner situation. This video is from the Breakfast Club while I'm losing my headphone. And Lauren Rosa is speaking about what happened to Malcolm-Jamal Warner. We lost our brother at the age of 54 while he was vacationing with his family in Costa Rica. Brother got up in the morning in beautiful Costa Rica and wanted to go for a swim. Like we all would naturally do. Excuse me, like we all would naturally do at 5:30 in the morning. Sunset is beautiful. That beach is beautiful. The waters is beautiful, but brother unfortunately got caught up in a riptide, and we're gonna go to the Breakfast Club right here with Miss Lauren DeRosa, and she's gonna give the details of what happened, or some more new details of what happened.
Warner, but it was a person that was there, saw what was happening, and jumped in to try and save Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Now, this person, as far as like their actual identity, has not been shared with people, but they did confirm that there was no personal connection between this person and Warner, and they say basically when Malcolm-Jamal Warner, I guess, was swimming in the currents and were taking him down and all things were happening. This person and other bystanders on the beach happened to see it, but they were a bit too late to try and save him. Even though once they pulled him out of the water, they did attempt to do CPR for 20 minutes, but he was declared dead at the scene.
Damn, man.
Yeah, and there was another report too. I saw TMZ.
Salute to that brother, that person, that hero.
Yeah,
that's peace.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was a good Samaritan tried to save Malcolm's life.
Yeah, that good Samaritan is in critical condition because he tried to save Malcolm's life too. And there were a few more people besides him that tried to help Malcolm out as well. But as you'll hear, he just didn't make it.
And unfortunately, him and other good Samaritans who tried to give him CPR for 20 minutes, and it just wasn't, they were just too late. He died, I'm hearing swimming at 5:30 in the morning, and he died because of a riptide. But let's get back into the video. Go ahead, Charlamagne.
He's a hero.
Yes.
You know, even though he attempted. Just the fact that you see somebody else in danger and you attempt to help them.
Put your life in danger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, 100%. There was another.
Go to YouTube if you want to hear the whole video.
Just about, people were wondering why weren't
you gotta go to YouTube,
guards or patrol or anything on the beach as well, and why bystanders, people who weren't
gotta go to the small channel.
Get involved. So there was a report by TMZ that there were no lifeguards on duty. Actually, there's a group called the Caribbean Guard, and this is a group of lifeguards and people who patrol beaches. They released a statement yesterday. They say, "We deeply regret the passing of Malcolm-Jamal Warner and Playa Grande. He was swept away by a strong rip current and died from drowning." They mentioned that they do typically patrol the area because of how crazy the currents and the water gets in that area. But that Sunday specifically, they did not patrol the area. But they have been, they have put out people and different officials in the area and other surrounding areas, and they upped their warnings following this. But they did send a rest in peace, and I guess just wanted to say some kind words, but wanted to explain.
Is it true that he got up for an early morning swim? That's what it was.
So yes, there are reports that he got up for an early morning swim, and that this happened right after sunrise.
Listen, if you go on vacation, to these Caribbean islands, like that's what I like to do. Get up early in the morning, go jump in the water early, solo.
I do it all the time.
Yeah,
that's what I do. I get up free.
When you get up at 5:30 in the morning and just walk outside, that's the freshest the air actually gets. And then you're in a tropical place like Costa Rica. Beautiful, good air, beautiful beach. I could see why he would want to go ahead and take that swim right quick. My God. I'd like to get some more lighting on this green screen.
To get up, or before the wife gets up, and I would go swim. I'm a swimmer, so I would go swimming.
Could you imagine that? Because it's beautiful. You get out there, the air is nice and fresh, the sun is coming up, and the water is right there. You're on a beautiful beach. If you can swim, you will want to swim. But maybe you shouldn't do it when there are no lifeguards on duty. And maybe it should be some type of restriction now where people can't even go into those waters without lifeguards. I don't know how they would do it, though, without lifeguards being there.
I'm not a swimmer at all.
Yeah, they might actually do that. Unfortunately, now that somebody passed. Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne passed yesterday at the age of 76. We don't talk about Ozzy as well.
Walker in water.
I'm a swimmer.
Meaning that when I go in the water, if my feet can't touch the ground, I'm not going no farther than that.
Yes.
As soon as my little feet can't touch the ground.
So you like pools?
No, actually like the ocean.
Oh,
I just like shallow
You
water.
just don't go past a certain point. I totally understand. I get it.
Yeah, and another thing too that the Caribbean Guard said is that this was one of the most challenging. It's known as one of the most challenging beaches because it's the beach known for local surfers. So they did have signs in English and Spanish warning of danger of drowning and other things, but there were no guards there at the time.
And they tell you that if you ever get caught in a riptide, the worst thing to do is try to swim away from it because it pulls you in and you use your energy. They said either let it pull you in, hold your breath, let it pull you in, or swim parallel to the actual where you're going.
Because it don't take you under, right? It just takes you out.
It can take you under.
It can take you under.
Yeah, it can take you under. Yeah, it depends.
Yeah,
Definitely take you under. And then the water is so like we can't beat water.
Naturally, you probably won't let it just take you. You naturally are going to fight for your life. Maybe swimming parallel to it might be the best advice. But I don't know if you're just gonna let it just take you. But that would be scary. Ooh, that'd be scary.
No.
Yes, and it was his wife actually alerted authorities, Charlamagne, after Malcolm-Jamal Warner went out for that swim after sunrise. He hadn't returned for over an hour, so she then alerted authorities. Yeah, and Raven-Symoné actually, because I know a lot of people were.
Yeah, Raven-Symoné had some nice things to say.
Is doing, and Miss Felicia Rashad, Raven-Symoné posted yesterday to her Instagram, remembering Malcolm. Let's take a listen.
I cannot describe the pain and sadness and surprise that I feel with the recent loss of MJ. A beacon. He was one of the most multifaceted, talented men, so gentle. And my heart and soul and hugs and kisses go out to his daughter and his wife and his mother. He gave the best advice. He gave the best hugs. And his smile will always be a huge, bright, white smile in my head forever. So I love you, and
wonder what they bleeped out.
Watching over all of us now. Bye, Malcolm.
That's what Raven-Symoné had to say.
Everybody who's speaking of him is saying the exact same thing, just a kind, gentle man. And a lot of those child stars don't end up being like that. He seemed grounded. He didn't have a whole lot of issues with the law. He wasn't really even in the news like that, unless he was working. You never really heard about a lot of wild things about that child star. And now, as to die at the young age of 54 during a riptide, and to have everybody say all these great things about him, it kind of got to me because he remained so grounded. Like, this was a really good person who lost their life in a riptide in Costa Rica. Very sad situation. Go ahead, Charlamagne.
That brother Malcolm-Jamal Warner was intentionally trying to be the best version of himself at all times. He was intentional with his heart and how he showed up in the world. Like that is what I always saw from Malcolm-Jamal Warner.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Very sad.
Extremely.
Man.
All right. Well, that is the latest.
That's what they had to say.
Yeah, so back to you, Instagram. I know it's kind of sad y'all that couldn't really hear the video I was playing it, but it seems like everybody had a whole lot of nice things to say about Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Seems like he was a very classy guy, and a lot of people in Hollywood had great things to say about him. Eddie Griffin had nice things to say about him. Everybody from the Cosby Show has spoken up on him, and some of his co-stars now. From what we gather, he was a gentleman, a very multi-talented person. Also, I hear produced records and play musical instruments. And he'll be missed. That dying at the age of 54. He leaves behind his mother, his wife, and his daughter. Very sad situation. Also, in that video, I was talking about how a lot of the child stars from that time had it very, 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 very rough with drugs and all kinds of arrests and pretty much going broke, making millions of dollars, and then they don't have it no more, or they went off into other things, hardcore Christianity. Their lives just took different and wild turns. He always was grounded. You didn't hear about him in the news. You never heard nothing bad about him. I don't think so. I think he kept his wife out of the limelight. In fact, I didn't know he was married until he passed. Blam Cora Piper is asked me on Instagram, was his wife famous? I don't think so. He kept his family out of all that or whatever. But now I want to talk, before I go, a little bit about Ozzy Osbourne also passed. Ozzy Osbourne died yesterday at the age of 76. I haven't yet known what Ozzy has passed of. Hopefully one of you guys in the comment section on Instagram could tell me, or if one of you want to come up and speak a little bit about Ozzy. But Ozzy is another person who seemed like a wild rock and roll boy. Ozzy once bit the head off of a live bat during a show. Woo-wee. That's some wild shit right there. It's amazing. He lived to be 76 biting live bats, but I heard he thought the bat was fake. They didn't gimmick, as you wrestling fans, they didn't gimmick the bat. They gave Ozzy a real one and didn't tell him. Oh, man. But yeah, Ozzy seemed to be a great family man. His wife always seems to carry herself with a lot of class, but at the same time being real open and funny as well, as I see her on the America's Got Talent shows or whatever. And then we had to listen to Sharon so we can understand what the hell Ozzy was saying. Because, toward the end, Ozzy, it was kind of rough. But Ozzy is one of rock and roll's biggest stars ever. I don't know what you would call it. Was he heavy metal or whatever? He had a couple songs. If you guys play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, you can hear that. I wish I could tell you a little bit more about Ozzy. I'm sorry. I'm totally unprepared. I just kind of threw this live together, but I wanted to talk about those three guys and give condolences out to their families. They were fathers, the sons, and American legends, really. Hulk Hogan is arguably the biggest star in professional wrestling history. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, as far as television goes, one of television's longest reigning stars. Been in the business 35 years or so. Made a great mark, was also a producer. and doing a lot of things still. More than one hit show. Also Malcolm and Eddie, and he's on the show now. I hate when I get on camera and can't remember things. It's awful. But I just wanted to speak on those three legends right quick before I call it a night and get back to my peoples. This is your boy, the Sports Dr. Spock. Let me know what you think about this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I am gone. See you later.